Hello friends, welcome again to the tetrahedron chemistry classes. So guys, if you remember, I have started the name reaction series especially for the IIT JAM examination. However, the reactions are equally important for your CSIR net as well as for the GATE examination. Okay, and in the series actually I have actually explained the three reaction mechanism with detailed examples. I have done Hofmann bromide reaction or Hofmann bromamide reaction, and then it's another same kind of the reaction I have discussed, which was your Curtius reaction, and after Curtius reaction in the last lecture I have discussed the Lawson rearrangement. Okay, so these three I have already discussed. Today I am going to discuss again a very important rearrangement which is known as the Schmidt rearrangement. However, this Schmidt rearrangement is not there in your IIT JAM syllabus, but reaction is quite important for your CSIR net and GATE examination as well as for your G examinations. Okay, and I think in the net examination they have already asked the problem based on the Schmidt rearrangement. So today we will see the Schmidt rearrangement in the pretty much detail. The length of the video is definitely going to be increased beyond say 1 hour. Okay, it may take up to 1.5 hour. So, but I will try to cover as many as example as I can to give you the real insight into the Schmidt rearrangement. Okay, so before talking about the reaction mechanism and all the possibilities of different kinds of the products, today we will see what kind of the substrates we can take in that case in Schmidt rearrangement. Okay, and what kind of the attacking reagent we will take and what product we are going to form in that case, because the Schmidt reaction actually is a very complex reaction because it involves the variety of the substrate. Okay, so depending upon the substrate you can have the different kinds of the products. So what kind of the substrates we can have? Say for example, I can have my acid, especially carboxylic acids. Okay, so whenever I am saying the acid, it simply means the carboxylic acids. Please remember, I can write carboxylic acids. Okay, so whenever you take the carboxylic acids and you react this carboxylic acid with the hydrazoic acid, which is your N3H. Okay, so in that case, like your Hofmann bromamide reaction, you will always obtain primary amines. Okay, so this reaction is quite simple, and generally CSIR net and GATE examination, generally they don't ask problem from the Schmidt reaction where you have the carboxylic acid as the starting material. Okay, then you may have your carbonyls. So second, you may have your carbonyls. These could be your substrate. So in the carbonyl, say first you can have your aldehydes. So I can write aldehydes here. In case of the aldehydes, if you are taking say your hydrazoic acid, so in that case it will end up into the nitriles. Okay, nitriles, or you can say the cyanides. And same thing actually, if you take the aldehyde but you react this with alkyl azide like RN3, so you will get the N substituted amides. N substituted amides. Okay, and after that you may have your ketones. So if you have your ketones and you are treating with this hydrazoic acid, okay, again you will get N substituted amides. Okay, and if you again have the ketones and you are having your alkyl azides, okay, then you may end up with your actually NN type of the azides, NN substituted, or rather di substituted, that means the substitution would occur on the nitrogen twice. Okay, so it's better to write only one N, so I can remove this one. Okay, so these, and please remember this point, from aldehyde and from the ketones, if you do the Schmidt reaction, it is the most important one, and most of the examinations ask question from this only, whether you have where you have the aldehyde or the ketone as the starting material. But it is not limited up to only this. You may also start this reaction with the alcohols. Okay, and you may also start reaction with the alkenes. However, in net and GATE examination, these are not very frequently asked problem, but they may ask actually. If you treat this with hydrazoic acid, if you treat with this hydrozoic acid, right, both these, so it may give you the imines, right. So this thing you should remember actually, say what kind of the reagent you have, and what kind of the substrate you are having, and by actually observing this you can have idea of what you are going to form. So let's see, the first start with the acids actually. Say I'll try to cover all the possible mechanisms in that case. So first I am taking the example of the carboxylic acids. Okay. So see, I am not going to actually generalize the reaction. I will quickly or simply take the real example. Okay. Say you are having acetic acid CH3 COOH, right, and if you treat this acetic acid with your reagents, like say you may have your hydrozoic acid N3H, and remember one thing, sometimes it may happen that this hydrozoic acid N3H will not be given straightforward in the reaction. They may give you this combination also. They may give you your sodium azide, and that sodium azide when reacting with the sulfuric acid actually, okay, so it produces your sodium azide N3H, okay, and other byproducts are also there. I am not going to discuss those byproducts because I am interested only on this hydrozoic acid, okay. So in that case, as I already told you, when you start reaction with the carboxylic acid, you will have the amines CH3 NH2, okay, and other byproducts you will have. I am not going to discuss those things actually. So here you can see 1 and 2 carbons are there, and in the amine you are having only one carbon. That means you are reducing the chain length. So this reaction can also be used where you want to reduce the chain length of the particular compound, descending of the series, okay, because during this Schmidt reaction course, when you start with the acetic acid, you lost one carbon atom, okay. I hope there is no problem in that. Now if you want to know the mechanism of this one, guys, please carefully see the mechanism, how we can see the reaction goes. Say this is your acetic acid CH3 C double bond O and OH, okay, and I'll all see, it's my general habit when I draw the reaction mechanism, I try to put all the formal charges and the lone pairs on the atom intact actually, because this will give you the real idea how actually the reaction is happening. And say you are taking your hydrozoic acid, that means H positive would be there. Definitely this H positive will come from hydrozoic acid, okay. So what can happen, the lone pair which is present on this oxygen, it may readily grab this hydrogen, right. So this oxygen when compared to the carbonyl oxygen, see you are having two oxygen, this particular oxygen and this particular oxygen, okay. So this oxygen is more nucleophilic, so when compared to this one, so it will readily attack on this electrophile, right. So you will have the protonated acid, protonated acetic acid you will have. So your product would look like that, CH3 C double bond O, okay, please wait, see it's a software problem actually sometimes, C, and then you will have OH2 positive, okay, there is no problem in that, 2 electron pairs were already there. So this is your protonated acetic acid. So what can happen in the next step, guys, you can see here, this water molecule can remove from here. How? See, this can come down and this will go with this, and you will have minus H2O. So you are forming water in the intermediate stages, remember, okay. And then you will have your species, that would be CH3 C triple bond O with a positive sign. I hope this makes the sense. Why? Because this electron pair has moved from here to here, so this would be carbon triple bond oxygen. So this is carbon triple bond oxygen. Since it has lost one electron pair, so it would be electron deficient, and that deficiency would be shown by the positive charge on the oxygen atom. I hope there is no problem in that. And then you may think about your hydrozoic acid, and your hydrozoic acid you can write in that manner. See, nitrogen, double bond nitrogen, and yet another double bond nitrogen, and hydrogen is attached over there. So this is the terminal nitrogen atom which is negatively charged, it will have the two lone pairs over there, right. One lone pair is the natural tendency of the neutral nitrogen compounds, okay. And when it is electron, when it is deficient in the groups, definitely it will have one more negative charge. Now, because it is trivalent, you can see here it is natural tendency is the trivalent, but it is divalent here. So, naturally it will have a lone pair, but here you can see it is a tetravalent now. That means it has lost one electron pair in the formation of the bond. So, definitely it could have a positive charge over there, okay, and one lone pair on this one, okay. There is no problem in that. Now, you can see here this carbon actually, right, this particular carbon actually it is more nucleophilic, okay. So, it will always search for the electrophile. So, what it can do actually, you can see here this electron pair can attack on this carbon, and this electron pair will go back to the oxygen, and then you are having your another species, and that species you can write in that manner, which is now CH3, C double bond O, single bond, nitrogen, and hydrogen is already there, and you will put positive over there, double bond, and yet another positive charge on this nitrogen, and double bond, and this is negative over there, okay. So, this is quite easy. See, this is CH3, this one, and this would become C double bond oxygen, this is C double bond oxygen. That nitrogen along with the hydrogen has bonded with the carbon. So, this nitrogen with the bonded with the carbon, okay. So, 1, 2, 3 and 4 tetravalent. So, it would have positive charge, and rest is fine actually, okay. So, what you can do in the next step, it is quite easy. Say in the next step, deprotonation would occur in that case. So, how the deprotonation would occur, you see here, this hydrogen will remove from here, and it will leave its electron pair onto this nitrogen atom. So, you can write minus H positive here, there is no problem in that, okay. And when it removes from here, then you end up with this species, which is CH3, C double bond O, nitrogen with one lone pair, and then you have two of the nitrogens. This one is the positively charged, and definitely this would be with negative charge, okay. So, what can happen after that? It is something very important, okay. Basically, this species is resonance stabilized. So, how you can write this species, the resonance structure of this species? This can jump from here to here, okay. This is quite possible. Let's check whether I missed something. Yes, I have missed this double bond actually. So, I should put this here, okay, not here actually, sorry, very sorry. So, I should put this here actually, okay. So, when this happens actually, this will come here. So, this electron will go on to this nitrogen, and then you can write the resonance species for this one, which would be CH3, C double bond O, nitrogen, 1, 2, 3, 4, single bond nitrogen with positive charge, triple bond nitrogen with only one lone pair. I hope there is no problem in that, okay. So, this is, you see, this nitrogen is having actually two lone pairs, okay. So, from here actually you can do your methyl shift. So, I am using this one, rearrangement is happening here. So, I can write rearrangement or simply CH3 shift, and remember that methyl will shift along with its electron pair. So, how it can go? See, this from here will join this nitrogen atom, this lone pair will come down, and this will remove as a nitrogen gas. So, N2 will remove from here, and then you will have your species, that is CH3, now connected with the nitrogen, because the methyl had shifted onto the nitrogen, double bond carbon and double bond oxygen. This is your methyl isocyanate, which you have already made in your earlier reaction in Hofmann bromamide reaction. In Curtius reaction, you have done all these things. Okay. So if you have followed those lectures, very good. If you don't, if you haven't seen those lectures, see in the description box. I am giving you the link also. Okay. So now what can happen in the next step? You will have your water. Okay. So that would attack on this carbon, and this will come here. Okay. And when this will happen, so you have this species, which would be CH3 N double bond carbon, single bond oxygen with negative, just like that. This is oxygen, this is hydrogen, this is another hydrogen, but this is with positive charge. Okay. So this species you can have, right? So in the next step, what can happen actually? So for the next step, I can use the next page, right? And next page. Okay. So in that case, say you are having this species CH3 N double bond carbon O with negative sign. Okay. And this will have, right, this was the picture actually. So what can happen in the next step? This electron pair will come here, and this electron pair will shift onto the nitrogen atom. Okay. And that electron pair which actually has come here, it will grab this proton, and this electron pair will push back onto the oxygen atom, and then you will have this species, and you can write that species in that manner: CH3 NH. Okay. And after that, single bond carbon, this is OH, and double bond oxygen. This species you may have. Okay. And after that, what can happen? Decarboxylation would occur. So here I can write decarboxylation. Decarboxylation. It simply means removal of the carbon dioxide. So see, however, there are various steps actually to explain this, but I am not going into that much of the detail, because I have explained all these things in my previous examples or previous reaction mechanism of like Hofmann bromamide and the Curtius rearrangement. I have explained, even in the Lawson rearrangement, I have explained these steps several times. Okay. So what can happen in that case? You see, I can move the electrons from here to there. So this can come here, and this electron pair will come here, and that electron pair which actually has come here, this will grab the proton. Okay. So what can happen? That CO2 part would be removed from here, and that hydrogen has moved on to this nitrogen, and finally you end up with the product which is CH3 NH2. So in this way you can get your primary amine. Okay. I hope you understood the thing. So this is the case when you start with the acidic start with the acid. Okay. Now what I can do, I can say my second case, I am taking the carbonyl compounds now. So again I will do the same thing. I will start with this acetaldehyde. Okay. And this is your hydrogen. Okay. And you know hydrozoic acid you are using in that case, and I already told you when you actually take this, I can go back actually. Right here you can see, if you start with this aldehyde, okay, and treating with this hydrozoic acid, so you end up with the nitrile. That means the cyanide would be the product in that case. Okay. So how that cyanide we can form? Okay. So first of all, I can give you the entire reaction. Say this is your hydrozoic acid, and you have used sulfuric acid. Please remember, you are using the sulfuric acid. Okay. Concentrated sulfuric acid, it will automatically have the water molecule. So what it will give you? It will simply give you cyanide, CH3Cn, right, along with the other byproduct. I am not going to discuss those byproduct here. Okay. So how the mechanism goes? For the mechanism, you can follow this. Right. This was your this aldehyde. So I can write CH3 also. and 2 lone pairs on the oxygen atom. And since you have used the hydrozoic acid, that means H positive is there, definitely this H positive is coming from this hydrozoic acid, okay, or say it may not, it may come from anywhere, it may come from say acetic acid, okay. In the previous case also, if you have used acetic acid, so you may think that your hydrogen H positive ion is coming from that H2SO4, okay. So what can happen in the next step? You see, you will have this species CH3, double bond oxygen and hydrogen here and one hydrogen here. So there is no problem in that. See, this is in that case only one oxygen is present. So this lone pair actually will grab this hydrogen. So you will end up with this species. Now next step is quite simple. You are having your hydrozoic acid, your N, single bond N and triple bond N. This is the resonance structure, okay. So in the earlier case, I have drawn the structure of hydrozoic acid in the little different manner, but here I have started with this structure. So this will not make any difference. However, it will reduce the one step to right actually. So what can happen? This lone pair actually, right, this is the nucleophile, okay, that nucleophile can attack on this actually electrophilic carbon, okay. So the moment this will happen, so you can end up with your product. So this will move up and then your species would look like in that manner. So I can write CH3 COH now, aldehydic group will convert into the alcohol, okay, and hydrogen were already there in that case, and you have connected nitrogen with this one, and this nitrogen is carrying hydrogen on itself. So this is positive, this is triple bond nitrogen with one lone pair. So this is species you are having, okay. And say, let's say what I can do, I can give some name to it. Say intentionally I am doing this actually, right. Say this is A, I am writing this species as A. So this A, what can happen with this A actually? Say you are having H positive, right. So this oxygen actually can attack on the H positive, and the moment this attack on the H positive, so you will have another species that would look like CH3 COH2 with a positive sign. Only one lone pair would be there on the oxygen atom, and less remaining things actually are the same, okay. You can write NH, okay, and then you can write N, then you can write triple bond N and a positive over there, okay. And intentionally I am writing this species as B. Please remember, I am writing this species as B. So what happens in the next step? Dehydration. Dehydration, that means removal of the water molecule. So that water molecule will remove from here. So I can write minus H2O, okay. And when water molecule removes from here, you end up with this species CH3, this CH with positive charge now because water has removed from here, and then you are having your NH just like that, and then your nitrogen, triple bond nitrogen, of course it is positively charged, okay. So this is how you can think about this structure. So there is no problem in that, okay. And after that, one more thing what you can do here, see, say the resonance structure is possible for this one. So I am drawing the resonance structure. See, this has moved from here to here. So you may have this species CH3 CH double bond NH single bond N triple bond N with positive, okay. So you have this species. Now this step is very So guys, you were having this species, okay. So now in the next step what can happen, deprotonation would occur, that means minus H positive. So from where we can remove H positive from here, see on this nitrogen atom it is present. So what I can do, I can rewrite this just like that, and this is the hydrogen, and that hydrogen will remove from here, okay. And when that hydrogen removed from here as proton, and this will push this electron pair onto this nitrogen atom, okay. And then you are having this species CH3 C hydrogen, double bond nitrogen, single bond nitrogen, triple bond nitrogen, and of course this would be positively charged. So this species guys you can have CH3CH, and then your doubly bonded nitrogen and this species, okay. And say purposely I am calling this as D. So this species is the D, okay. So now the rearrangement would occur. So here rearrangement would occur. So in the rearrangement you can see here you are having this CH3, okay, and you are having this hydrogen from here. So now you have to migrate either this CH3 or this hydrogen, but you know the migratory aptitude if you compare of these two species. So hydrogen is having higher migratory aptitude than the methyl. So basically your hydrogen will migrate from here to there, okay. So this migration would occur. This hydrogen along with the electron pair will go to on this nitrogen, and this electron pair will go to the nitrogen, and you have removed nitrogen from there, and then your species would be CH3 C double bond NH. There is no problem in that. Of course this carbon is electron, see it is actually electron deficient, so it should have positive over there, okay. And in the reaction, since you have your used your acetic acid, and you know your acetic acid if you have used like H2SO4, and if you ionize this it will give you the H positive plus HSO4 negative. So this H positive you have used already here. Now you left with the HSO4 negative. So what can happen? You may have here, I can write here HSO4 negative. So this can grab this proton and it will push back this electron pair between carbon and nitrogen, and this will give you your final product, and that final product would look like CH3 C triple bond N. So this is your product actually. So if you start with this aldehyde, you end up with the cyanide actually, and in that case the carbon number of carbon atom remains the same. I hope there is no problem. Now after that you can see, if you have, say for example, if you have started this reaction with the ketone, if you have started this reaction with the ketone, so what had happened in that case? So simply what you can do, you can erase this hydrogen from here, okay, and instead of putting this you can write CH3, okay. The moment you write the CH3 here, then you will have the different product, so you can remove it from this here. So if you write the reaction mechanism in the similar way, so what you have to do, you have to convert this into CH3, this into CH3, and of course this will also be your CH3. Now this was your A, and in case of the B, again you will remove this hydrogen from here. This would be having CH3 now, and if you do the dehydration, okay, so in the dehydration also you were having CH3 onto this, that means this is also CH3, okay, and this is also CH3. So the species actually which you are rearranging here, this would also be CH3, okay. So when this happens, then how the reaction actually changes, you can see here. So I will start this reaction from this point again, right? From this point I am starting this reaction again. Please remember C I will rewrite again. So what had happened, I was having this species when I have started with the ketone. This is C, this is CH3, no problem. This is double bond nitrogen and a positive over there, and one hydrogen was already there, and simply this is nitrogen, this is positive, this is triple bond nitrogen. Okay, this species I was having. Okay, and after that I can do the protonation, deprotonation. Deprotonation means you are having your HSO4 negative which you have used. This will grab this, pushing back this electron pair over there, and then you are having CH3, C, CH3, double bond nitrogen with its electron pair, nitrogen, triple bond nitrogen, positive of course over there. Now see, now you are having only one option to migrate. You can migrate this one or this one, both are same. So you can migrate this species from here to here. You can knock out this species from here to here. Okay, and the moment you do this, so N2 would be knocked out from here. Okay, and when N2 would be knocked out, you end up with this species, and that species would be your CH3C, double bond N and CH3, because this carbon is electron deficient now, so it should have positive charge over there. And in the reaction itself, you have used your water, sulfuric acid you have used actually, right? So it will have water definitely, so that will attack over there, and then you end up with this species, that is CH3C, double bond N, CH3, this would be your O, this is H, this is H, of course the positive charge over there. Okay, there is no problem in that. So after that what can happen actually, so it's quite easy guys. In that case, you can remove the proton from here, deprotonation would occur. Okay, this will go here, and then you are having this species. So I can remove, let me actually readjust the arrow because I need some space. So you will have that CH3, that carbon along with the OH bond, this is double bond nitrogen, this is CH3. Okay, so this species guys, as you can see here, this is having alcohol, that means all, it is having double bond, that means ene, so it's a enol form actually. Okay, so you can write it as enol form, and this enol form readily tautomerize, it will readily tautomerize. So how it will tautomerize, you see here what can happen, this electron pair can come here, this electron pair can go there, this can grab hydrogen from here, and then you end up with this structure, CH3, C, double bond O, N, H, CH3. So basically what is the name of this particular compound? It is N-methyl ethenamide, N-methyl ethenamide. So I have already told you, when you start with the aldehyde, you end up with the nitrile. If you start with the ketone, you end up with the amide. So if I go back in the first slide, here you can see, first you have started with the aldehyde, so you end up with the nitrile. You started with the ketone, you end up with the N-substituted amide. Okay. So this is how you can understood the reaction. Similarly, you can try this combination also, start aldehyde and do the reaction with this one, so you end up with the N-substituted amide. Okay. So this is something very, very important, and you should know this thing actually. So this step actually, this one, right, see, let me show you again. So this step which I have done here in that case, see, in that case I am, if you follow regularly here, so in the next page you can see what I did. I have used water in that case. What I used water in that case, and I have removed nitrogen in that case. So whenever you are doing this Schmidt reaction and you are using the aqueous acid, so I can write aqueous acid here, this is aqueous acid, and you are removing nitrogen. So this pathway basically is known as Baeyer-Villiger pathway. Baeyer Villiger type reaction or Weyer-Villiger pathway. See, and if you are not using your aqueous acid, if you use the non-aqueous acid, right, say second condition, you can see this was your first condition. Second condition, if you are using non-aqueous acid, okay, non-aqueous acid, and you, in that case, if you removing water from there, so that pathway is known as the Beckmann's type of the pathway or Beckmann's rearrangement, Beckmann pathway. Okay. So, see, however, there is no difference between the product. Whether you use your Baeyer-Villiger pathway, you end up with the end substituted amide. If you use the Beckmann's pathway, then you also end up with the end substituted amide. The only difference is that you have slight different mechanism for this one. So, this is something very, very important to note, that whenever you have been given concentrated sulfuric acid, aqueous acid, right. So, in that case, N substituted amides will form via Baeyer-Villiger type of the reaction, and you, in that case, you will remove the nitrogen. Okay. And one more important thing you see here, what actually in that case, what had happened in that case. See, this NH group, see, if you focus on the starting material, because you have started this reaction with the ketone. So, if you write the ketone, so ketone is just like that, you see, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Okay, this was your starting material, SM. And in the product, actually what had happened, this NH group actually has inserted between the carbonyl group and one of the alkyl group. See, as whenever you have the symmetric ketones, so there is no problem in that where you insert this NH, whether on the right hand side or whether on the left hand side, it will not make any difference if you have the symmetric ketone. But if you have the unsymmetrical ketone, then you have to see the migratory aptitude. So, I can explain that example also. Say this one, okay. Say now I am using the Beckmann type of the pathway. So, I can write Beckmann pathway, and what starting product I am taking here, say this is my CH3, this is double bond O, and here I am writing C6H5, this is benzene ring. Okay. And the same thing can happen in that case. You are using actually non-aqueous acid, so definitely this H positive is coming from the acid, and the electron pair which were present on the oxygen will grab that hydrogen, and you will have your this product CH3, this is C6H5, this is double bond O, H, and of course a positive charge over there. Okay. In the next step, you can do the same reaction which actually I was doing. Nitrogen, this is hydrogen along with the lone pair. This is double bond nitrogen and double bond nitrogen. Okay. So, you can put 2 negative over there. There is no problem in that, it is positively charged. So, what can happen? This can attack onto this can go up. Okay. And then in the next step, you can have your species, and that species would look like CH3, OH, C6H5, and here you are having the nitrogen along with the hydrogen. Okay. And definitely this will have the positive charge now. This is double bond nitrogen, this is positive again, this is double bond nitrogen with the 2 electron pairs. See, this species you are having. In the next step, what you can do the deprotonation. That means removal of the hydrogen. So, you can remove this hydrogen from here and pushing back this bond pair to the nitrogen atom, and when you, the moment you do this, so you will have this species. You can write CH3, this is OH, there is no problem in that. This is another, say C6H5, and then you are having your this species nitrogen, double bond nitrogen and double bond nitrogen. So, this is positive and this will have this kind of thing, okay, and this is connected with this nitrogen. So, this is trivalent. So, this is how you can do. So, in the next step what you can do, say you have used acid in that case, and you see lone pair is there. So, this will attack onto this one, and this will give you this product, or this intermediate, not product, this OH2 with a positive sign, okay. And then this is C6H5, and then your nitrogen, double bond nitrogen, double bond nitrogen, okay. This is positively charged. This is species you may have. Remember, I told you whenever you are doing the Baeyer-Williger pathway, your Beckmann's type of the pathway, in that case you will remove the water molecule, okay. So, that water molecule you will remove from here. So, you can write minus H2O, okay. So, the moment you write the minus H2O here, then you will have this species CH3 carbon C6H5, okay. And now, when this will happen, okay. So, what we can do, this lone pair was there, when this will remove from here, you can push this electron pair here. So, this is carbon double bond nitrogen basically. So, you can write carbon double bond nitrogen with a positive charge, okay. This is double bond nitrogen with positive again, double bond nitrogen with this, okay. So, this you have. Now, the important step, see, from here actually what you can do, see, you can write the resonance structure for this one. So, how you can write the resonance structure for this species? This electron pair can come here, there is no problem, okay. And after that you see this can come here, okay. When this happens, actually you can write your intermediate or your resonance form rather. Say this was your CH3, okay. This was your carbon, this was your C6H5, and that carbon with double bond nitrogen, this one. Now, this would become single, and of course, the positive charge would be there, and this would be now triple bond nitrogen, right. This intermediate you are having. Now, the same question, you are having this CH3 and you are having the C6H5. Now, in this migration, you can migrate this or this, but you know the migratory aptitude for phenyl, that is C6H5, is much higher than your alkyl. So, what will happen in that case? That phenyl will migrate onto this nitrogen. So, that migration you can write in that manner. Phenyl along with the electron pair will migrate over there, and this will remove from here, okay. That nitrogen will remove from here. So, what species then you will have? It is quite easy now. CH3 you are already having, carbon you are already having with the double bond nitrogen, and that C6H5 has migrated. Any problem in that? There is no problem in that, okay. So, this is actually C6H5 migration, and this is actually electron deficient species, okay. Of course, with this one there is no problem in that. So, in that case what can happen actually, right. So, if you have used say water in that case, right. So, you can add water to it, and this from where this water is coming? This coming from the intermediate stages, remember, okay. You haven't used the aqueous acid, but it is coming from the intermediate stages. So, this can attack onto this, and when it attacks on this, so you end up with this structure. I can write the structure on the next page, that is CH3 C double bond nitrogen along with C6H5, and this was O, this was H, this was H, this was positive, okay. And again what you can do? You can do the dehydration from here, sorry, removal of the proton. So, this can remove from here, this will push back over there, and then you will have here this species. That species would be CH3C OH double bond N C6H5. So, this is also the enol form, because it contains ene as well as ol. So, it can readily tautomerize, okay. It can readily tautomerize. So, I can write tautomerize. I can write tautomerize. So how the tautomerization would occur? This will come here, this will go there and grab this hydrogen. And when this happens, you end up with this one, CH3, C double bond O, single bond NH and C6H5. This is N-phenyl ethanamide. This product is your N-phenyl ethanamide, right? And now recall what was your starting product? Your starting product was CH3, C double bond O, C6H5. This was your starting product. If I go back, I can show you. You have started with this one, okay? And now you see here, this NH group actually has inserted between this phenyl and the carbonyl group, okay? While it is not, it has not inserted from this bond. So from here you can conclude this particular point. The insertion of the NH group will occur between the carbonyl and the group which has the higher migratory aptitude. This is how you can assign the product, okay? So it's quite simple now. If you have any starting material given and you are doing the Schmid reaction, right? Starting ketone is given and you are doing the Schmid reaction, you simply, what you can do, you can insert the NH group between the carbonyl and the group which has the greater migratory aptitude, okay? So before going into the details of those kind of the reaction, I am giving you a simple detail. This detail is very, very important for you guys. Please note that this point, right? This is very important. Migratory aptitude of hydrogen is very, very high and followed by the aryl, okay? And in the aryl also, remember, your aryl with electron donating group will have the higher migratory aptitude than your normal aryl, and this will have higher migratory aptitude than your aryl with electron withdrawing group, okay? And after that, this will have your tertiary migratory aptitude of the alkyl group, and in the alkyl group also your tertiary alkyl group will have the higher migratory aptitude followed by the secondary and then the primary. So this series is very, very important. See, in most of the cases this series actually applies whenever you do the migration, whether you do the pinacol-pinacolone rearrangement, if you do the formation, if you form the your different kinds of the carbocations, right? If you do the any kind of the reaction, so this migratory aptitude actually follows, right? In Curtius rearrangement, various kinds of the reaction. So this is remembered. Now if you move further, okay, say next page. So these are the sum of the problems, okay? So now these problems would be quite easy for you. How? You see, this is the ketone, and you know, whenever you are having the starting material ketone and you are reacting with this alkyl azide, your hydrozoic acid. So what you do, you will insert NH. So either you can insert NH from here to here, or you can insert your NH from here to here, okay? Now if you focus on this particular example, this carbon is the primary carbon and this carbon is the 2-degree carbon, and you know the migratory aptitude of the 2-degree carbon is more than the primary carbon. No, sorry, wait. This group is actually the secondary group. I am sorry. This group is the secondary group and this group is the tertiary group, right? This carbon is the tertiary carbon, this carbon is the secondary carbon, and you know your tertiary carbon is having the higher migratory aptitude than the secondary one. So you will insert the NH group between carbonyl and the methyl because this will migrate. There is no need to draw the mechanism, this is the trick actually, right? And you know, when you see, this is the 6-membered ring, and when you insert one of the nitrogen in between them, so the ring automatically becomes the 7-membered ring, and that 7-membered ring would contain the your nitrogen atom. So how you can write? So simply you can write the 7-membered ring, just like that, okay? Put carbonyl over there and you have inserted NH group here, and next to the NH group you are having your CH3, so you can write CH3. So this is the product, okay? So this is how you can actually find the product in any reaction. Say in the next reaction, what is given to you? See, this is the carbonyl group, okay, and this is your secondary carbon, this is your tertiary carbon. So how you can write? This is your 2-degree carbon, and this carbon is the 3-degree carbon, okay. Then definitely you know, whenever the insertion would occur, so migratory aptitude of this tertiary carbon would be very, very high. So definitely the NH group actually will insert between this carbon and this NH group. So this, see, if you check 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would become now 5-membered ring, okay, and that 5-membered ring would definitely have 1 nitrogen. So how you can write the product in that case? So what I am doing, say I am writing the product in that manner. Let's check how we can draw this. Say this is nitrogen, this is hydrogen. This I have inserted. This is my carbonyl group, and this I can write in that manner, okay, and that would like your N, this will go there, and this is having CO2 ET, and this was having phenyl, that is pH, and one of the hydrogen. So this would be the product actually. So where you have inserted this between this and this, okay. So this is how you can actually understand how the reaction mechanism goes. So this is something very, very important. The group which is having the higher migratory aptitude actually will migrate to the higher extent, okay. So this is how you can understand the things, okay. And you may try your another example also. Say you may insert actually your group in some other way also, okay. Similarly, if you go for this reaction, right, so this is the methyl and this is tertiary. Now the insertion of the nitrogen would occur at this point, okay. So simply you write the structure and you put your NH group in between them. So if you write the product, then this is your then this would be your Me with the carbonyl, and in between them you please insert this NH group, okay. Rest of the things are same. This is your CO2 ET, okay, and this was your R, and this was your ET. So there is no change in the stereochemistry. Please focus on this point. So you have inserted that NH group here actually. So this is something very, very important which you should know, okay. Now you can see here, this example also you can see. See, you can insert NH either here or here, but you can see here this carbon actually, right, this carbon is actually your tertiary carbon, and that carbon is your secondary carbon. So insertion of the NH would occur here, okay. So how you can write the product? Simply write your benzene ring, and this was your 6-membered ring. If you focus, this was a 6-membered ring. Make this ring as 7-membered. So you simply draw the 7-membered ring, one which contains the nitrogen. So insertion actually occurs in that case, and this is your carbonyl group, and then your 7-membered ring. So if you count the total number of the atoms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the trick is that whenever you have the cyclic compound, you actually increase the ring size by 1 unit and insert nitrogen between insert NH group between the carbonyl and the group which has the higher migratory aptitude, okay. So there are various problems, okay. Now next problem you can see here, okay. See, this problem is a kind of the exception. Please remember, this is the exception. Here it is difficult to find the product, but the product in that case was this is your NH. So, insertion actually occurred in that case. Since you have used this one, so cyanide has converted into the acid also, and this part actually is here. Okay, so this is the kind of the exception. Now, after that you may have here, say another very important trick is coming, guys, and this trick is very important for you. In that case, you see this is what intramolecular. If you see here, this is intramolecular Schmidt reaction. That means, see, for intramolecular Schmidt reaction, you have to think in that manner. Say this was your carbonyl group and this is your alpha carbon. So, for intramolecular Schmidt reaction, you must have the alkyl azide group, alkyl azide at alpha position, okay, with respect to the carbonyl. So, in that case, how you can decide the product? See, this you see here again, this carbon is what? 2 degree carbon, and that carbon is 3 degree carbon. So, whatever the reaction will occur actually, that means the insertion of the NH would occur between this carbonyl and this one, because this tertiary have the higher migratory aptitude. So, simply what you do actually, if I remove this alpha from here, what you simply do, you break this bond and put NH here actually, and before putting the NH, you should count this numbers also. Say this was your, say, carbon number 1, this was 2, this was 3, this was 4, and that nitrogen was 5. That means you are going to form the 5-membered ring. Okay, you will form new 5-membered ring. So, in the product you see here, 6-membered ring would be like that. This was your carbonyl. Okay, there is no problem in that, and this will increase by 1 unit. So, this is not looking very good. The trick is that you will form a new 5-membered ring, because you have these 5 atoms here, and you will increase, because the insertion of the nitrogen is NH is happening, you will increase the ring size 1 unit by 1 unit onto this 6-membered ring. So, you will make the 7-membered ring here. This was your carbonyl, okay, and you have inserted nitrogen here, okay, and you will make the 5-membered ring. This is how, okay, and phenyl is already there at position number 1. After carbonyl, you are having the phenyl, so that would contain pH also, phenyl. Remember, this phenyl is connected with this carbon, so I am connecting with this carbon, not with this nitrogen. This is important. At what position you are having you are having the phenyl? After carbonyl carbon. Okay, so this was your carbonyl carbon, okay, and then nitrogen has inserted, and after that this phenyl, this was your carbonyl carbon. So, this should have your pH. So, this would be your product. So, in that case, what you have obtained, this is bicyclic lactam. This is bicyclic. So, guys, you can see this is your problem number 7, and again this is the same problem. We will form bicyclic lactam with this example. Okay. So, if you focus here, this is you can see here, I have already numbered this. This is your carbon number 1, this is carbon number 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. Okay. That means you will form a new 5-membered ring, and that 5-membered ring will have nitrogen at the junction. So, definitely the ring size of this cyclohexanone system will increase by 1 unit, because it will have nitrogen, right. This is the trick I already told you. See, increase the one atom, that is nitrogen, in the already given ring, which is bearing your carbonyl group. Okay. And you can see here the reagent what we have taken here, TFA, trifluoroacetic acid, or you may also take the titanium chloride. Okay. And don't forget that your alkyl azide, that means this azide functionality is already there in the group. Okay. Then now it is easy to form the product actually. So, first of all, you clearly what you can do, make the 7-membered ring. Okay. So, this is your 7-membered ring. and say at this position it is having the carbonyl, okay, and definitely you will break this bond and that nitrogen will insert in this particular position, okay. That means after carbonyl. So after carbonyl you will have your nitrogen. So I can write nitrogen over there, and this nitrogen actually now it will form a 5-member ring because it is having 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 atoms in it, okay. And definitely this 5-member ring will have your nitrogen, okay. This is how you can draw. So this is the product actually, right? This is again your bicyclic lectum. So now this problem is quite easy because it is also the same kind of the problem. So again, if you focus on the trick is that if you focus, this 5-membered cyclopentanone ring is there, right? 5-membered. So you will increase the ring size of this by 1 unit. That means it will become 6-membered ring that will contain nitrogen at the junction, okay. And if you number this here, this was actually, you see here, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4 and this is 5. So you will form a new 5-membered ring, and that 5-membered ring would have your nitrogen, okay. So how you can write the product? Simply write the 6-membered ring, okay. So you have made a 6-membered ring, and since this bond will break from this particular position, that means nitrogen will insert somewhere here, okay. So you can write nitrogen here, and then you can make your 5-membered ring. See how easy to identify the product. So in that case, you see the in case of the carbonyl compounds, right. So insertion actually would occur when you have the intramolecular Schmidt reaction, and that insertion again will follow the same rule which I have already discussed, but you should remember the trick, okay, that trick which actually I have explained. So this is all about the Schmidt reaction of your carbonyl compound, and after that what you can do, you can check another kind of the reaction, another starting material. Now this time I am starting with the alcohol, okay. So that is Schmidt reaction of alcohol. Say for example, what we can do, we can take simply say 5-membered ring, right. What I can do, I can take this. This is a famous example given in an organic synthesis book. Say this is your alcohol, which is the starting material, and this is having methyl functionality over there. 2 lone pairs are there, okay. Since you have you are using the reagent, in that case your hydrazoic acid, okay, and your hydrazoic acid will produce this H positive, okay, and that would be grabbed by this, and then you will have your protonated system, and that protonated system you can write in that manner: 5-membered ring, this is methyl and this is OH2, okay, no problem in that. After that dehydration step would occur. So in the dehydration, what you do, you will remove the water molecule from here, that means minus H2O, okay, and when you form the minus H2O, you will form a carbocation. That carbocation I can write in that manner: this is your 5-membered ring having this methyl, and it is having the positively charged species. And you know you are doing the Schmidt reaction, that means you are always using your hydrazoic acid. So this is nitrogen, this is your hydrogen, and I am giving the 2 lone pair to it. So this would be doubly bonded now, and doubly bonded from on this particular end. So this is also again negatively charged. This is one of the resonance structure, okay. So what can happen actually? It can immediately attack on this position, and when this will attack on this particular position, you will have your new species, and that species would look like, say, 5-membered ring, okay, no problem in that, and then you are having this methyl nitrogen with positive charge, okay. and after that you will have your another nitrogen, double bond nitrogen and double bond nitrogen. Okay, this would be negatively charged, and I forget to put positive charge on this particular nitrogen, so I am putting positive here. Okay, I forgot this actually. And if you count the actually, you see here this was double nitrogen. Okay, I have written 4 nitrogen, very sorry, very sorry. So right, this is now fine. Okay, this could be double and this is positive. Okay, now since this nitrogen actually has used one of its lone pair in the formation of the bond, so let me correct one thing. When I have shown this double bond here actually, right, so it should have only one lone pair. Very sorry, I made a mistake there. Okay, now it is fine, this could be positively charged. Okay, so in the next step what can happen, the deprotonation would occur, that is minus H positive. Okay, so deprotonation would occur from this end and it will put this electron pair back on this nitrogen, and when this happens actually, so you end up with this species, your 5-membered ring, and this is your methyl group. This is now nitrogen, proton has removed, this is again nitrogen. So this would be positively charged, double bond nitrogen, and this is negatively charged. Okay, so finally what can happen, so you can draw the resonance structure for this one also. Okay, so is it important? Yes, it is important. So what you can do, you can push this electron pair from here to here, there is no problem in that. Okay, and once it came here, so you can push this onto the nitrogen atom. Okay, though it is already having a lone pair, remember. So resonance structure would look like nitrogen, triple bond nitrogen, single bond nitrogen, and this would be now with extra negative, and it has this 5-membered ring, right, methyl is there. Okay, now this step is very important. In this step your nitrogen will remove from here and you will increase the ring size by 1 unit. So how actually it can happen, you see what you can do, you can number this. So this was your carbon number 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4 and this is 5. Okay, and you can consider this nitrogen as number 6. So what can happen, this bond will break, okay, and it will form bond somewhere here, and that nitrogen which was having positive charge actually along with the electron pair, it will remove from here. So you can write minus N2. Okay, once you write the minus N2, then you simply have 6-membered ring, and that 6-membered ring would have nitrogen over there. So I can write nitrogen, and after see nitrogen, you see at position number 1, see nitrogen has inserted here. If you see here, this bond has broken, and then nitrogen has inserted here, okay, at this position. So after at one position you are having this one. So if you want to number this, so you can very beautifully write, you give this number, say this is 6, this is 5, this is 4, this is 3, this is 2, and this one is 1. Okay, and at you can see here at position number 1 you are having this functionality. So you can draw at position number 1 this methyl. Okay, so this is how you can see very beautifully you can do, or definitely say now it is clear, and now it will have the 2 lone pairs. Okay, because it see, you can see here when this happens, this will get the 2 lone pairs actually, because this carbon has came here along with this bond. So neither of the lone pair on the nitrogen has been used in the formation of the bond. So it is, they are the readily available on it. So in the next step what can happen, this electron pair can form a double bond here. So then you will have your product. and then your product would look like 6-membered ring. At this position you are having your methyl functionality, right, methyl here, and this was your nitrogen and double bond oxygen, right. So, this was your product. So, in this case you can see here, I already told you whenever you are doing reaction with the alcohol, so you end up with the imine. So, it is an imine actually. Imine, that means nitrogen containing compound which has the double bond actually, right. And one thing I forgot to mention, you have taken hydrozoic acid in that case, and Lewis acid, right, it is acid catalyzed Lewis acid you have taken with the diethyl ether. So, this is the reaction of the Schmidt reaction of the alcohol, right. Remember, in that case your imine would form, okay. And if you have another alcohol, finally you should focus on this functionality only. Whatever the reagent is given, it hardly matters. You actually focus on this moiety, right. You should form nitrogen double bond carbon imine formation, okay. Now, last thing which is left in this Schmidt reaction, that is Schmidt reaction of alkenes. So, here I am starting my reaction with the alkene, okay. So, if I start my reaction with the alkene, what I can do, I can take a fully substituted alkene. Say I have put it CH3 here, one more CH3 here, another CH3 and another CH3. So, it is a butene system, 2,3 dimethyl butene 2 is the substrate, and since you are using the hydrozoic acid, that means you have taken H positive. So, what can happen, since you can see guys, this alkene is the symmetrical alkene. So, this electron pair can shift either on this carbon atom or on this carbon atom, anything can happen. So, what I am doing, I am shifting this here electron pair, and that electron pair then grab this proton, okay. This is the way of explaining actually, okay. Otherwise, you can quickly draw the arrow from this double bond to the hydrogen, right, and you can show the trapping of this H positive, okay. Now, what product then you will have? See, carbon, this would be single bond carbon, okay. 2 methyl were already there on the left hand side, and 2 methyl were here, and that carbon also grabs hydrogen. So, this carbon is trivalent now. So, this is a carbocationic species, and when you have the carbocationic species, then again you can use your what reagent, that is nitrogen, hydrogen, your hydrozoic acid, okay. And I am putting a lone pair over there, this is single bond nitrogen, now this is triple bond nitrogen. So, intentionally I am using this species here, this resonance form, okay. I am not delocalizing these electrons from here to here. Why I am doing this? Because you need to understand any of the resonating form you can write, it will not make any difference in the final product, okay. So, after that what can happen, this nitrogen is actually negatively charged. So, what it can do, this nitrogen can attack on this carbonyl, okay. Once it attacks on this particular carbonyl, then you will have here this species. So, I can write that species, okay, I need this. So, okay, I am flipping this. So, very sorry. So, I can write carbon here, and I can put CH3 and H, okay, and singly bonded carbon, that would have CH3, and then it is again having CH3, and then it is having your nitrogen along with this hydrogen, definitely, okay, and then it is having nitrogen, triple bond nitrogen, and that would be positively charged. So, you can see here it is forming bond in that manner, right. So, it is actually hydrogen is already there, so valency is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is not making any not actually see, this is the product. Did I make any mistake? If I attach this here, this would be trivalent now, and NH I have already shown you. Okay, fine, there is no problem in that. So what happens in the next step? You see, this step is very, very important. See, one of the alkyl group actually which is present here, it may shift onto this nitrogen atom, okay, and this nitrogen will remove from here, that means N2, okay, and then you will have your product carbon, single bond carbon, 2 methyls, that is CH3, CH3 again, and one of the hydrogen, okay, and then you are having CH3 connected with the nitrogen and hydrogen and one CH3, okay. See carefully, actually this has shifted from here to here, that nitrogen has removed from here. So, it is N methyl substituted kind of thing. So, N is substituted with the methyl, okay. And since you know in this reaction you will always form your imine system. So, for the formation of the imine, what you can do? You can do the dehydration. Minus H positive can remove from here. So, this is H positive, and this will put electron density onto this carbon. Okay, I forgot to say this was trivalent. So this should be positively charged. Okay, this should be positively charged. So with the moment it shift here, actually you will have your product. So I can write your product in that case. These are the 2 methyl along with the hydrogen, okay, and this is another methyl. This is double bond nitrogen, and that nitrogen is having your CH3. So again you have seen that this carbon double bond nitrogen formation occurs here. So this is the formation of the imine, like in the previous case. In the previous case, I also told you with the help of the alcohol, that means you will end up with the imine system. So if I go back actually to my first slide, where it was, yes. So now it's quite clear, guys. I have already shown you. With the help of the acid you will form the primary amine, with the help of the aldehyde you will form the cyanide, with the help of the ketones, right, you will form your N substituted amides, with alcohols you will form the imines, with alkenes you will form the imines. So this is the complete aspect of your Schmidt rearrangement, and the reaction is very, very important. Unfortunately, I couldn't take that CSIR net problem here, which has been asked. The question has been asked on this Schmidt reaction. So let's see whenever I'll get time, and when I'll solve the multi-steps reactions on organic synthesis, then definitely I will take such problems which has been asked in the previous year CSIR net examinations. So I hope you understand the things well. So I have completed this reactions of the nitrogen, right? Reactions of the nitrogen, especially in your rearrangement kind of things. So in this series I have completed your Hoffman bromamide reaction, your Curtius reaction, your Lawson rearrangement, and your Schmidt rearrangement. Okay, very, very important. So in the next class I will take another actually name reaction for your competitive examination. I hope you understood the things completely. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. And if you understood the thing completely, if you are liking the lecture, kindly subscribe the tetrahedron chemistry classes, right? Please like the video also, okay, and do share with your friends. Okay, guys. So that's it for today. Thank you very much.